Hi guys, there's a certain section of the electorate that is too far gone. People who are so far down the rabbit hole or in the cult that no reasonable argument would sway them from supporting their respective politician or political party. However, the vast majority of voters aren't like that, and they can be convinced by an argument if it's presented in a simple way and it's easy for them to digest. Justin Trudeau, the current Prime Minister of Canada, who's on his way out, explained to the American public the problem with Trump's tariffs. Now, the average voter has been convinced by the president and his party that tariffs will only damage foreigners and not Americans. Trudeau pointed out here not just the problem with that argument, but also whatever the US does, Canada can do too.
You're staying on until the party elects a new leader sometime in March, but between now and then the parliament is suspended. So for the American public, for others watching right now who are trying to understand what levers you have if he isn't listening to this rational argument, what are you prepared to do if he actually does this into the first couple weeks of his presidency?
As we did last time, we are ready to respond with tariffs as necessary. You may remember when Donald Trump put tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum, which did nothing but raise the cost of steel and aluminum for American consumers. We responded by putting tariffs on things like bourbon, Harley Davidsons, orange juice, playing cards, these sorts of things that Canadians could find replacements for, so they wouldn't have to pay more for that money. And it ended up causing a lot of loss in American businesses for whom Canada is their number one export partner. We are the number one export partner of about 35 different U.S. states, and anything that thickens the border between us ends up costing American citizens and American jobs. That's not what President Trump got elected to do. I know he got elected to try and make life easier for all Americans, to support American workers. These are things that are going to hurt them. So as he's negotiating for more secure borders, which we're going to be giving him, as we're working to make sure that we're creating economic growth that benefits everyone across America and in Canada, we're going to be there as a partner, as we always are. And those are conversations that we will continue to have. But I have all the tools as Prime Minister to be able to respond, whether Parliament is sitting or not.
There you have it. Now, once again, as I said at the beginning, this message is not to Trump supporters. It's not even maybe to Donald Trump himself. It's to ordinary voters, ordinary Americans who probably don't understand how tariffs work. So it's been laid out pretty clearly, I think, easy to understand here. If the US imposes tariffs on us, well, we can respond in kind. And as he pointed out, bourbon or Harley Davidsons, where Canadians can say, well, look, Harley Davidsons and bourbon are too expensive now. I'm going to buy an alternative, maybe from the European Union, for example, or from China. So this is the problem that Trump has. As soon as people start to look around and see, wait a minute, your tariffs are driving up prices. As soon as people are informed about this, and once again, ignore the extremes, ignore the people who are just in the cult. I'm talking about ordinary people. As ordinary people look around and see prices going up, they're going to ask, well, why did we vote for this guy? How is Donald Trump making my life better? And I think this is something that the Democrats need to jump on. They need to reinforce this idea that Donald Trump is not making people's lives better. He's making some people's lives better, the richest in society, but he's not making ordinary workers, ordinary people in the US better off. And that's the message that they need to reinforce between now and the next presidential election, and maybe the midterms as well. Is Donald Trump making your life better? Because if they are eventually convinced that he is, then there's nothing the Democrats can really do. But he won't be. Now, of course, the right-wing media in the US is going to reinforce this idea that Trump is succeeding, Trump is driving down prices, things like that. But if ordinary people are looking around and seeing everything more expensive and seeing public services not improving, if they don't see their country, in their eyes, getting better, then they're going to vote him out. But the Democrats need to reinforce that idea. So picking fights with Canada or Mexico is going to create problems for Donald Trump's administration, but ultimately it will make life more difficult for ordinary people. And that's the message that the Democrats need to reinforce. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.